So, upon my preparation for the review of this movie, I just now discovered that as of 2 days ago, Demi Lovato has released an official music video song for the film. What's it called? The song is called Still Alive, and it is absolutely cringing when studios feel obligated to do a music video and show clips from the movie to promote that movie. Just, I don't think the two really blend together. Don't do it. Don't do it at all. If you are going to make an original song for it, make it its own entity. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Isaac Joel, and I am here with the Critics at Agents of Fandom, and we're going to be talking about Scream 6, the latest installment in the franchise. I didn't think this series could get any better. Truly, I was actually a little bit put off, also excited because I did like the last movie. I did really, really love Scream 5. I thought it was a good reboot slash reimagining, still the same thing, kind of different, of the Ghostface character and all these new characters that they're bringing on board, kind of doing away with the legacy characters, but still kind of keeping them on. I am aware of the whole drama that went down on not bringing Neve Campbell back. She wanted more money. They weren't down to pay her that much, which I don't know those figures, nor do I really care. For me, at the end of the day, I understand that her name is built on the whole thing. For me, I would have done it for free. That's just speaking on my own behalf. You know, I don't know the kind of conditions that they may be putting these actors in, if it's really all that rough, you know, if she really needs a big paycheck, you know, because she's not working, you know, but I really don't think it mattered. She really should have just been there to support them the way Courtney Cox was there, the way Hayden Penitentiary is there. And I really, really love what they did with these two characters. They're not slapped right in front of the screen. They are not the main characters of the film. It is not built on their shoulders. They are there to support and leave it to these new young cast members to carry the entire franchise, which they do. The core four. I love the core four. I'm not going to spoil anything on this. I'm not going to tell you guys what happens, what goes down. I am just giving you my first impressions. I was able to see a private screening of it, which was really awesome. They had a barcode on the screen, and you scan it with your phone, and then you get a phone call. You type in your name, and you get a phone call from Ghostface. And he's like, "Hello, Isaac. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time now." And he just goes on and how he's coming to the Big Apple, seeing, you know, the sights and blood and this and that. And it was actually pretty cool marketing, just speaking as one of the biggest Ghostface fans. I have been watching this franchise since high school by myself. This is something that I kind of just walked into. I didn't grow up watching this with my brothers or my sister or any of my family members or any friends or girlfriends. This was purely just me poking around right off the bat. When I watched the first movie, I was so impressed. The second one was really good. The third one is probably my favorite, where Roman, her brother, is the killer, and he's the only one. Sometimes there's two killers, sometimes there's one. But I think each film, honestly, I has not lacked. There is not one Scream movie that I can point to you and be like, this is the lesser of the others. I'm not that sort of fan. In fact, after watching Scream 6, guys, I am definitely, after years of not purchasing physical copies, I am prepared to buy the box set for this film. I cannot believe what these directors brought, and an adrenaline rush. It is something that this franchise desperately needed. It had to get out of Woodsboro. It had to get away from those small time stories. This is big. Not is it a bigger budget? It is bigger in terms of emotional scale. I am very heavily invested in these girls, in their friends, and making sure everyone gets out alive for the next movie. Tyler and Matt return to direct this film. They're the same directors that handled Scream 5. And I think with Scream 6, they are finally kind of, the shackles are free for these guys. They're able to reassess, look at everything that they have built everything that they love, and not what they can do different or how they can change things up. They are truly building a continuation of the series. It doesn't feel like they are missing pieces or forgetting one thing. They acknowledge all the films. They all have their place within this. And just speaking on that, I do think that Ghostface is this transcendent character that can live on and go through any person, any individual can really copycat and live that legacy of him going forward. It's kind of, some people would try and say that with like Michael Myers or what, but I only think with Ghostface, you can always have a new person putting the mask on. You can always have new characters. You can always, but I love what it is that they're doing on keeping all of the main characters who have been in it technically from the beginning all the way to now. This film, the best way I can describe it to you guys right off the bat in the first 5 minutes, and you're going to know it when you see it, it reminded me exactly of American Psycho with Christian Bale. Yes, I cannot go into details about it, but the slickness, the animalistic nature of this killer is something that you really haven't seen all that much before on screen. I think Ghostface is a hilarious, clumsy character. That's what makes the movies fun to watch, is that he's always tripping, he's always falling on his cloak, or he's just stumbling, going down the stairs. He can barely see that thing. His voice is disguised, so there's a lot going on underneath there for the killer, and it is a challenging task, but they're doing all of this for the sake of concealing their identity. Potentially 2 to 3 Ghostface, more than that if you really want to count the other people. I think there's like 4 or 5. Like, it really depends on who it is that you want to count. This is a big one. I couldn't tell you there is exactly 2 Ghostface killers. No, it's a lot more deeper than that, and there's seeds that are being spread, and I don't think that this is the last time that I hope this isn't the last time that we live inside this world. I am prepared for them to make 4 more films completely based off of Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, because these girls, as the Carpenter sisters, which by the way is the badass name. The Carpenter sisters are seriously the meat and the bones. I love the relationship that they have with each other. I love that the conversations that they're having. I wouldn't even describe this film as a New York movie. That's purely marketing purposes. Him going to the Big Apple. When you watch the movie, it feels a lot more like a college sorority film, if anything. And I loved that about it. We say this all the time with every new movie, is that the killer is getting more and more brutal. He is more driven. He is more angry. This movie did not have the ending that I may have wanted, but I definitely respect the direction that they went in order for it to all kind of wrap back around and not feel like it was just another rehashing, another retelling. Oh my goodness, he's back again. How are they going to stop him again? They actually tell themselves, well, maybe this time he wins. Maybe this time we don't get away. Maybe this time we don't get to live happily ever after. Maybe he wins this time. And I enjoyed those moments when they're actually having those types of conversations. There are 3 big scenes in this movie that are, I think, cut a lot better pacing wise. It's really intense when you actually watch the movie, but the trailer, I remember these scenes being in there, and then people just ripping on it on Twitter, like, how the heck is Ghostface dodging bullets like this? When you watch the actual movie, you can see in real time him dodging the bullet, him getting away, how he gets away, and it's cut a lot better. You're able to make a lot more sense out of it, and this movie really, really excites me. The train scene is cut differently than it is even in the trailer. You think that they're all on the same track together, but actually there's A track and B B track. And the question while you're watching them bounce back and forth between who's on A track and who's on B track is Ghostface on A track or is he on B track? And that they let that tension build and build because it is New York and it is during Halloween, which is kind of a weird time, if I'm gonna be honest, to release a movie. I always feel some way about that when they release a movie that's like based on a holiday, but it's not released on said holiday. So if you're gonna do a Valentine's Day movie, but you release it in the middle of the summer or winter, that's just weird to me. Or, you know, Iron Man 3 is probably the best example, is when a summer movie takes place during Christmas for no apparent reason. And that's just that you could sell a lot more tickets if you post it on said holiday, but I digress. It was so funny when I showed up to the screening. There's limited press there, and it's always very, very quiet when I go in there. No one's really talking to each other or intermingling with each other, so it's kind of intimidating for someone like me. You know, I'm young, but I'm very excited to be there, and I'm sitting in the way back, and there's security, like 5 men, you know, in suits and walkies. They're standing right next to me, and then the curtains open. And then the logo starts playing, and then the title cards start coming up, and I literally jumped out of my seat and was like, "Yes, let's go! I'm so ready. Let's do this." And the guys next to me are cracking up at me. They're laughing with me. They're like, "Yes!" They're excited. They're like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad someone in here is excited." There's always one person. I'm glad it's you. And I was like, "Yeah, man!" I was wearing a suit and everything because I was just so prepared to have a good time. The trailers didn't give anything away at all. I didn't want any spoilers. I didn't know. I was in the complete dark with this movie, and I'm glad, rightfully so, because I sat there and had the best time of my life. I went to a bar afterwards with my friends, and we talked about it. We broke it down, and we compared it to the other ones, and it was just at times we're like, it's kind of uncomparable. You just can't compare it. It really is for the new generation. Those movies were good for that time, but this is so much more. Very rarely when I go to these screeners do I want to see a movie a second time, because I go and see it for free, but then am I really going to go and spend my own money on and go on my own time to go and watch it? Day one on Thursday night, I'm telling you guys, I will be watching Scream 6 again in theaters with the crowd to see how they react to it. I'm going to tweet right back out. And it's always fun rewatching these movies. You have to rewatch them twice. I feel like that's the appeal of them, is you don't get that with very much movies. If you go and see a Marvel movie twice, that's just because you really, really enjoyed it, or blah, 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 blah. You want to see something that you missed. With films like Knives Out or Whodunits, Scream, you want to watch it a second time because you want to see what you missed. You want to see the clues. Now that you know who the killers are, you're paying very close attention, and you're just like, you're in a whole new perspective. You're watching it from a whole new point of view, and I cannot wait to watch this movie a second time. If you're like me and you go on Thursday night, Scream 6 comes out late Thursday night, or you can go and see it on Friday. Let me know in the comments once you've seen the movie what it is that you think. Comment, tweet at me at It's Isaac Joel, and tell me whether you loved it or whether you hate it. I'm very curious to know what your theories are, what you thought was going to happen. This has been Isaac Joel with the Critics, signing off.